Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to today's Drawing for Youth class. This class is offered as a partnership between the Ann Arbor District Library and the Ann Arbor Arts Center, both located downtown Ann Arbor. Today we're going to be doing magical fairyland illustrations, and I'm really excited about what I have for you today. It's going to be really fun, super colorful, and very whimsical. As usual, we will start out with just a pencil and a sheet of paper, but feel free to be really creative as you watch this video. You might decide you want to paint or use pastels, crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you want. So I'm going to do actually two little demos. The first one is going to be in the shape of a bookmark, and so I think this is a fun way for you to make art that is also functional, and especially since we're doing these magical fairyland illustrations, this is perfect for a cool book that you want to use the bookmark for. So think about how you can use the art in a functional way. I think that's really fun. So let's get started. So go ahead and grab your pencil and a sheet of paper, and I'm just going to start by putting the horizon line where the sky meets the ground. And you can see I've colored the sky a bright purpley pink color, and the grass a deep green. And then what I've done is add some nice like glowing circles in the sky to kind of look like stars or galaxy look. And then I've added small little dots of light in the grass to look kind of like fireflies just hovering and flying right above the grass. Then I have added dark black trees that are really tall that go up all the way to the sky, and little blades of grass and little glowy flowery looking things in the ground. And so the trees are kind of spooky, whimsical kind of look. They don't have any leaves or anything, and so it just kind of looks like a winter night sky with lots of twinkling lights around it. All right, so now I'm gonna do a more complex version, and this one is going to be using some kind of like pastel kind of look. But I'm just also gonna add in all sorts of other fun details just so that you can feel like this is, really up to you of how you wanna do it. So the first thing I'm doing is layering in the sky and also just some blue kind of all over to give it kind of an overall cooler kind of color scheme. Even as I add some warmer colors, I still wanna stick to my blues, greens, and purples. Those are cool colors. So what I'm doing right now, you can see I'm adding in some lighter creamy, yellowy, buttery white kind of color, and I'm doing that to give a sense that it's glowing, that the sky is really light right there. And then I'm fading it out to pink. So I want to make this sky look and have like a lot of directional lines and a lot of movement, but I also want to give it a lot of color packed in there. So this is going to be more of a landscape style, and then at the end I'm just going to throw in all sorts of fun, whimsical, magical components that might be in a fairyland. But I want to walk you through the process of how to create this kind of magical, whimsical landscape. So take a few moments here and look at the way that I'm creating the sky, the trees, and the ground. Alright, so now that I have my grass layered in, I am going to just add a little bit more detail with some individual blades of grass here, so you can see these little thin lines of grass, because right now everything is kind of blocky, right? That's how soft pastels kind of are. You can't get a ton of detail, so if you want to get a lot of detail, I do recommend using a different material such as colored pencils or even markers. Crayons are more similar to soft pastel, and they're not nearly as detailed. So I'm layering in a little bit more blue into my grass just to make it have more of that cooler kind of vibe. And now I'm adding some fun like galaxy looking stars into my sky. So I'm doing that with white, layering in some blue, and now I'm gonna also layer in some hot pink, purpley kind of colors in there. So that's just a fun way to make it look even more magical. So think about creating a space that is very magical, that you're using your imagination. It's a make-believe space. So I'm also deciding to add more of those twinkling little lights into the grass at the bottom. So that's what I'm gonna be adding here to make it look even more magical. And of course, what's a magical fairyland without a rainbow in the distance, as well as some lovely little bright blue mushrooms here in the front, in the foreground of my landscape. I'm also just gonna add some flowers here to create a little bit more detail in the foreground, along with some butterflies. So what's a magical fairyland without a fairy, of course? So I have added in this little fairy, and I have to admit, I drew it on a separate little canvas thing and then added it on. So I had done that separately. So I do apologize not showing this step by step on how to draw a fairy, but this is about how to draw a magical fairyland. So this is gonna be kind of a quick little fairy here. You can see how I'm coloring it in and adding some cool fairy wings and little outfits, and she's blue, so that's pretty cool. Now with pastels, soft pastels, you can kind of smudge things to create this soft little fuzzy kind of look. So I'm doing that to make it look like she's moving. And then I believe that's gonna be the final detail I'm going to add here. So again, you can do this in however you want. This is your magical fairyland, so make whatever details. This is just showing you a lot of different ways to go about this. And I hope you tune in next time.